Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, Cypher O, and today we're going to be doing part 5 to What If Deku was the 10-tailed Jinchuriki. So, without any further ado, cue the intro. Last time on What If Deku was the 10-tailed Jinchuriki, we saw that Deku introduced himself to the 5 Kage of the Naruto universe and Kakashi, as well as Sasuke and a couple other people. He explored all his dimensions using his Rinne Sharingan, and the UA Sports Festival is starting. So, let's get into it. Everyone was in the changing room for the sports festival. They were all discussing what they were going to do. They were all changing into their PE uniforms, of course. And they saw Deku. They looked at him and they're like, "Aren't you going to get changed?" Izuku says, "My clothes are about... I can't wear clothes," he admits finally. Everyone stares at him confused. "Well, you notice how I don't wear the UA uniform?" Like, "Yeah, you wear that weird cloak thing." "That's not a cloak," he explains. "That is it's part of my body. It is basically a second skin, which melts anything else that touches it. Unless it's, an attack. Then it just repels it." Everyone stares at him confused, but understands. If you look at the thumbnail, everyone, the image is currently on the screen, I believe, you will see the outfit Deku was wearing for the sports festival. I hope you like my edit. I edited Jubito from the manga and gave him green hair. That took me about 3 hours. So, yeah. Okay, so, finally Class 1A is called out by President Mike. He's shouting, "Class 1A! The class who survived a villain attack." Once everyone's outside, they line up, preparing for the speeches. After every class has given their speech, 1A, representative calls up. They say, "1A's representative, please come up to the stand." As Bakugo is about to move, they call out the name. "Izuku Midoriya!" Bakugo's fuming at this. He looks over at Izuku, glaring at him. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you." Of course he can't. He physically can't. Bakugo's probably just gonna use an explosion. Bakugo's like Deidara, but less Deidara. Like, Deidara's fabulous. Like, I love the way that character was done. But okay, I'm losing track here. So, back to the story. Izuku gets up to the stand and he taps the mic a couple of times and he says, "My name is Izuku Midoriya and have fun. Everyone do their best and enjoy the show." He then steps down from the stand, standing next to Bakugo, who still is glaring at him. But, withholding himself from attacking. He doesn't want to appear like a villain in front of everyone else. Midnight goes up to the stand again and she, spins the wheel saying, "And the first event is racing." Everyone is told to line up by the, massive door that is in the stadium. And they're told to wait for the signal to run. 3, 2, 1, go. Midnight yells as everyone goes. Izuku, deciding not to teleport, just flies. And bear in mind, Izuku does have troop seeking orbs, so he's currently holding the staff that Obito would have been holding, or Madara. So he's currently flying like that. Oh, bear in mind, I'm making Izuku like an Otsutsuki, but a lot stronger, so bear that in mind. So yeah, as Izuku is flying, he comes across the zero-pointer robots, using his drifting orbs to create a shield similar to Obito, just to block it. He then flies through, getting to the, cavern area, where he has to go over the holes. He decides that if he wants to stop everyone from catching up, he'll only leave 3 lines exposed. So he uses his drifting orb and turns it into a sword, destroying all but 3 ropes that allow people to cross. So there's 3 ropes from every area, so they have to be very careful when they're getting across. He then finally gets to the minefield. At the minefield, he, just flies over it. He doesn't really want to bother doing that. He's already sabotaged everyone enough. Okay. So, Izuku then crosses the finish line. And he's beaten All Might's record, bear this in mind, even with the sabotaging. And Midnight says, Izuku Midoriya, first place. Then, that's how things go. Then, okay, sorry guys. 10 minutes later, Baku and Todoroki both cross the finish line. Then, about 30 minutes later, the last person crosses the line. Everyone's glaring at Izuku right now because, they all noticed the sabotage he pulled. He bloody cut a couple of, he bloody cut a load of lines off in the cavern area, so a load of people just found it really difficult to get across because they were all crowded. It was like, everyone was out, just imagine this, so back at the cavern area, 30 minutes prior, everyone's just lined up at the cavern area. They're like, let's just help each other across, we're heroes here, Ida shouts, and everyone agrees because, they all want to get across, don't they? They all want to continue the sports festival. So, they form an orderly queue, and Ida says he'll take one from the team and go last. Of course, Mineta, being the selfish little piece of shit he is, decides he's going to go first. Because, he just wants to look like the cool dude, He thought he was going to finish first because he crossed first, but he didn't, because he's a tiny little motherfucker. Sorry about my swearing, but that's just how it is. Also, everyone, Merry Christmas. This video is going to go out 27th of December, so I hope you're all enjoying it. So, also, leave a comment down below telling me what you got for Christmas. I would really love to hear what you guys had. I got a new phone, and I'm currently recording on a new microphone, which I used in my last video as well. So, don't tell anyone that this mic was a little bit before Christmas, but still. So, let's get into it again. So, Midnight goes up to the stand again, and she spins the wheel. She lands on the cavalry battle. Everyone's glaring at Izuku because they don't want to be with him. Because, he's got 10 million points. And they just don't want to join in with him. So, yeah. So, Izuku says, he puts his hand up and he says, Miss Midnight, can I call on a friend to help me with this? Midnight looks at him but says, sure, hesitantly. Izuku says, give me 5 minutes and I'll be back with my friend. Midnight says, okay, the event starts in 10, but yeah, good, make sure you're quick. Izuku thanks her and then uses Ren Sharingan to go to the Naruto world. He appears outside Konoha, saying to the guards, can I speak to your Hokage, please, Naruto Uzumaki? They look at him hesitantly but say, sure, go ahead, kid. Because these are the same guards who saw him last time, and they're like, well, he's back already, he must be important. So yeah. So, when Izuku crosses the gate, he goes straight to the largest building he sees, which he assumes is the Hokage. He's like, oh, well, the Hokage is meant to be the most important person in this village, so, well, he just assumes that's it. On the way, he gets a lot of stares from people whispering and muttering, isn't that a Jinchuriki? They're all whispering among each other, oh my god, that's a Jinchuriki. They're like, oh my god, I've never seen a Jinchuriki before, even though, I beat and abused one when I was younger. So yeah, when Izuku gets to the Hokage Tower, he goes upstairs, walks past the secretary who's, asleep for some random reason. It's Shikamaru. Of course he's asleep. He walks through and he walks over to the door that says Hokage and he knocks on it. He hears a faint come in and he walks in. Currently in the office is Team Konohamaru, which consists of Boruto, Sarada, Mizuki, and well, Konohamaru, as well as sitting in the office behind the Hokage chair is, well, bum bum bum, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto says, oh, Izuku, what are you here for? Oh, well, you see, Naruto, I'm here because I'd like to request a mission. I don't know how much Japanese currency translates to here, but, I have about 30,000 yen, and I'd like to hire a mission. It's just a support. I need support in an event, and I need people who don't, absolutely hate me to, help. So, do you happen to have a team I could, hire? Naruto just stares at Izuku blankly and like, what's a yen? And, Naruto is kind of confused here because he doesn't know what the Japanese currency is because he lives in the 5 great nations. So Izuku says, well, a yen, 100 yen can buy you about like a bowl of ramen. And Naruto just looks at Izuku wide-eyed like, you used ramen as a scale of measurement? Oh my god, kid, you're my favorite. Boruto. Screw payment. Screw payment. You're my favorite kid now because first of all, you're the 10th Jinchuriki and I placed a load of burden on you by stealing it in you. So you deserve a free mission anyway. But yeah, no, you using ramen as a scale of measurement is just like one step above. Yeah, go ahead. Team Boruto, Team Konohamaru. I mean, yeah. So you're gonna go with Izuki here. He's gonna take you to his dimension. Everyone just looks at like Naruto crazily and like he's crazy, and Sarada's like, Lord Seventh, did you just say dimension? Like he's from a different dimension? I doubt that. I highly doubt that. And Naruto just says, well, the way I told you about the story about the 10 tails being sealed and a kid in a different dimension because we were traveling through dimensions at that time. Sarada's like, yeah. And then she's like, and I just called him the 10 tails Jinchuriki. And she's like, yeah. Oh, wait, what? Boruto just like, you weren't lying? I thought you were just joking and telling us one of your stupid war stories again. Like, you always make those up. And Naruto's like, I don't make anything up. I'm just here to tell you the truth. Me and Sasuke lived through that bullshit. Like, Madara stabbed Sasuke through the chest like twice. And they're like, well, yeah, you told us that, but I can't see Sasuke-san getting stabbed. Well, it's true. But yeah, okay. So yeah. Team Boruto, you will be paid by me, personally as your Hokage, to do this. What rank would you place this mission at, Deku? Deku looks at him like, how did you figure out my nickname? And I'm like, well, just seems like something someone would call you. So you're saying the first thing you thought when you saw me was, I am useless. Naruto starting over, like, no, I actually think you're a lot more powerful than myself currently. As you're kind of like, it was almost as powerful as Momoshiki who attacked the other week. Momo who? Oh, well, you see, he's like an Otsutsuki. And since you had the 10 tails sealed in you, you're also technically an Otsutsuki. And, I'm making this up, guys. This is not canon. Like, I'm saying, like, Naruto is Kage level, currently. And, Sasuke is currently, like, just under Kage level. Whereas Deku is, like, Otsutsuki King level. Because I'm just saying that, like, yeah. So, he's, like, a lot more powerful than Ishiki. So Boruto's like, well, then how are we going to get to this dimension of yours, he says, doing air quotes. And Izuku just says, well, I've got my Rani Sharingan, he says, opening his eyes, which have shifted and doing iron. I'm changing it so he doesn't have it in his forehead. They say he has it, like, he can just shift his eyes to it. Like, wait, like, same way Sasuke-san does it? Like, Sasuke with his Rinnegan? And they're like, well, I don't know what this Rinnegan is. And Boruto's like, well, it's a purple version of your eyes with, like, 3 less Tomoe. And I was like, oh, I have one of those. He says, lifting up his palm to show, like, 2 in his hands. Yeah, guys, this is my first most energetic what if in a while. Mostly because I'm like, it's Christmas. I need to get into that Christmas spirit. Sorry, I was getting a drink. So, Okay, yeah, so Boruto's like, okay, go and take us then. He's like, well, yeah, I only got like 2 minutes to return, so we better get hurrying. And like Naruto's like, well, have good luck, win whatever you're trying to do. And he's like, I will. And he shows them through, and he's like, okay, so here's the plan. It's a cavalry battle. We just have to keep our headband. We currently have 10 million points. We need to keep this headband away from everyone else. So I was thinking, the moment the thing starts, I just take us all to my desert dimension, or we maybe fly up in the air and just fight off anyone who comes at us. Boruto's like, sure. I'd like to see you try, though. As he teleports them to his dimension. And then it's like, and Asuka Midoriya is back. And I'm like, wow, this looks so much like the tuning exams. And he looks like he brought some friends with him. Like, full-grown adult and, like, 3 ninja children. And they're like, wow, that hurts, Boruto says. And Naruto's like, well, yeah. Well, no, Izuku's like, you'll get used to it. So then he's like, well, the cavalry battle's starting now. And Izuku says, so what you need to do is get into formation and hold me above your head, okay? And Naruto's like, okay. And everyone's like, oh, okay. And Konan was like, I'm just gonna like go up to the stands and sit down. And everyone's like, fine, go on. And of course, Sasuke just then magically appears next to Izuku and is like, you better keep my daughter out of trouble. And it's like, Izuku's like, this is your daughter? Cool. And like, everyone just blanched. I'm like, you can't tell, like the symbols on her back. And then it's like, I don't like pay attention to that kind of stuff. I just like enjoy my life, I guess. And Izuku just flies up into the air, holding everyone else with his truth-seeking orbs. And he's like, you ready? And everyone's like, yes. And begin! Midnight yells as everyone else starts rushing at Izuku, who was already in the air, like, holding everyone else up. Sorry, get a drink. I'm gonna put my glasses on, guys, sorry. So, yeah, so what happens is they are currently in the air and defending off people. Bakugo, like, magically just went, okay, I'm gonna come get you, useless nerd. And he blasts himself into the air, trying to grab the headband off of Deku's head. Of course, Deku sidesteps, kind of moves to the side, as Sarada then just, like, reels back, and she sends Bakugo she launches Bakugo right into the ground. Like, yeah, them anime scenes where, like, the character hits the ground, they're back, and then they bounce up, and they're kind of, like, spitting out, like, saliva. So that happens. When Bakugo bounces back up, Sero grabs him with the tape and pulls him over. Okay, so that's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and next time we will cover the rest of the cavalry battle, as well as the battle segment. So, hope you enjoyed, and have a